everyone, welcome back to Soup to Nuts. It has been a while, but doesn't mean I haven't been busy. I am currently in the finishing stages of a mudroom renovation project where it's a tiny little room when you come in off our garage, right before you get into our kitchen. It was a ratty little dumpy smelly room with old carpeting and a rickety wire shelving system. So it just needed to go. So I was originally just gonna replace the wire shelving system with like a cubby that I would make, put some new flooring down, but quickly realized the walls needed to be redone, needed to put a new ceiling in, etc. And figured if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. So pretty much gutted everything and then put up some beadboard wall panels and built a cubby system. So that's what I'm gonna show you today, is that process. Even a small room can be a lot of work. What I do is complete amateur hour where I'm just figuring out how to do it on my own. I read and watch other YouTube videos, obviously, but I just figure out as I go. So disclaimer, nothing I'm doing is necessarily the right way to do it, but I'm really pleased with it right now. It's going to be a functional room that looks good and accomplishes what we need. We've got a family of 4 kids. We got a dog. It's a very active room in the house. And the key is to have organization where everyone can have their own space, a place where they can put things down and they know where they are. And I think that's what we have here. I'll show you how I took it from a blank canvas to a completed project in 2 parts. So this here will take you from the beginning to finishing the cubbies. And the second video we'll do the painting and finishing work and take it from there. So enjoy. So here's my crude blueprints. You'll see that I sketched it on a piece of computer paper. I tried to draw it to scale, so I used a ruler. And this is what I wanted the cubby wall to end up as, so it gave me an idea of what type of wood I needed to go shopping for. I looked around quite a bit for the right width of wood and found it was only at Lowe's because I wanted 16-inch shelf board instead of the 10-inch, which is pretty much everywhere. Here the room, you'll see it's been gutted, if you will, and I put some wood paneling up, the beadboard paneling, for the walls. There was a bit, I didn't record, unfortunately, cutting them or getting them in there. The walls aren't square, nothing is true, so it was a bit of a hassle. But I got them in there and figured I'm going to be building the cubby on that back wall, and then I'll trim it out so you're not seeing any gaps in the corners, but you'll see the surface of the beadboard all painted and cleaned up. All right, so I am now waiting for gas, but I'm on the way to Lowe's to get some more wood. I find so often that I can't possibly get it all in the first trip. Oftentimes I'm making many trips. So another thing to keep in mind when you're doing jobs, if you're close to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or any type of hardware store, that's helpful. And of course, I have the oldest person in the world getting gas in front of me. So hopefully we can make it to the store before it closes, since it's almost noon. see I'm really beating the hell out of the wood here. I'm trying to get a tight fit. Or maybe I'm just compensating for my bad measuring. You'll notice I'm using the air nailer at this point. That was my original plan. I ultimately changed that, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Alright, so I've shown you how I've been putting together the cubby. I've got all my cuts. I originally thought I was going to be able to kind of rely on a couple pieces that were fastened in to hold it all together, but ultimately I'm realizing it's going to need some more structural integrity. I'm not dadoing the shelves. I'm trying to build like a system that would basically slide the shelves in between using these fairing strips. They would kind of clamp and hold each section of the cubby, each shelf. So now I've decided, rather than just nailing them with the air nailer and then kind of having the front trim hold it in place, I'm going to drill and screw each one so that it's structurally, sound and held together a little more tightly. So now I'm going to drill 3 holes in each strip. Quick view from outside, not as bad as our neighbors to the south have it. So 29.5 inches. clips of me measuring, making sure everything is square over and over again. That's what you have to constantly do, is to measure again, and measure again before you cut. I've learned that lesson the hard way too many times. So I could see it wasn't exactly sitting flush when I had it in that channel, so took it out, put the belt sander on it just to even it out a little bit and make sure it had a nice flush seating. You can see I was going for a really tight fit here. Again, I don't want these to move at all. It's got to be strong, and I want to rely on more than just what I'm screwing in to hold it there. I want it to be snug anyway. So all my cuts were pretty much like right on the line with how big I could make it. And preferred to have to pound it in a little bit than have it be loose. One thing with wood this thin is you always want to make sure you pre-drill a pilot hole before you screw into it. Even with pre-drilled holes, I split these a couple times. Alright, I just put the final screw in of the bottom divider. So now we've got a full, zoom back here. So everything is in place. Now I'm going to go through and reinforce what I've already done. As you remember, I started without using screws, and so now I'm going to put screws and a few pieces down at the bottom here that need them still over here too. And then next step is trimming. There we go. Well, I don't need any more there. Where's the hammer? The hammer is right here. And there you go. 3 months of work condensed into less than 20 minutes. So basically where I left it here is the cubby's built, the room is walled, and I've got some more trim work to do, which I do off camera. I fill in where all those fairing strips are. I kind of complete that look. So I try and frame out each section of cubby. And from there, basically painting. So I paint, put a floor down, and that's where we'll pick up in the next video. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I'll try to incorporate any responses to those into the next video. Thanks a lot.